Hey guys, it's Claude, and we are back with a deck opening. Today it's going to be for Vault Boy 81. Big super fan of the channel. Just became a $25 patron this month. And good luck to you, sir. Hope you get something amazing here. It is the last deck of the box. Ooh, did not want to open. Red Archon. Alright, let's give him something special here. I actually signed a deck for him at Gen Con. It had Shadows. I think he likes Shadows, so let's hope for that. Mars, okay. Dis. And Untamed. Oh boy, Untamed in this box has been a little rough. Come on, let's get something amazing. Archon here, wow, it's like reminds me like an elder tribesman. The back of there is like the fur of some sort of animal maybe. It's holding two different staffs. And yeah, it's a pretty cool looking Archon. First time I've seen this wide body sort of thing. Well, I guess I'm thinking it has a wide body. I guess this right here is the body. But that's a pretty cool looking Archon. Look at those hands actually, wow. That's pretty intricate. Alright, good luck. He also requested that I put up a special picture for him. Depending on how the deck does. If it's a good deck, you're going to get a very specific picture. And if it's a bad deck, you are going to get another very specific picture. Oh, and I just realized we didn't say the name of the deck. It's Fen, Criminal of the Peculiar Mountain. Actually a cool name as well. Start off with Untamed, Perilous, Wild, Amber. Whenever you play it, destroy each elusive creature. Mimicry, very nice. When you play this card, treat it as a copy of an action card in your opponent's discard pile. Grasping Vines, 1 Amber whenever you play it. Return up to 3 artifacts to their owner's hands. Chota Hazri, so you got a key cheat, kind of a temporary artifact removal, and you also have Mimicry, arguably one of the best cards in the game. Starting off with this Untamed, pretty solid. Chota Hazri has 3 power. Play, lose 1 Amber. If you do, you may forge a key at current cost. Amber Spine Mongrel, 3 power, hazardous 3. After your opponent uses a creature to reap, you gain an Amber. Tantadolin, 9 power. Tantadolin only deals 2 damage when fighting. Fight, discard a random card from your opponent's archives. Song of Spring, Amber whenever you play it. Shuffle any number of friendly untamed creatures from your hand, discard pile, or battle line back into your deck. Wow, it's pretty good with Chota. And 2 of those. Nox is 3 power and gets plus 3 power for each neighbor it has. Another Nox, this could get pretty big. Another key cheat, it's Key Charge. Play it, lose 1 Amber. If you do, you may forge a key at current cost. Kind of like the Chota more in here just because you have a way to return it, but that's still not bad. And another way to return those cards, it's Glimmer, 1 power alpha. First thing you must do in a turn. Play, return a card from your discard pile to your hand. Very nice. Oh, okay, this is a fantastic card. Total Recall, Amber whenever you play it. For each friendly ready creature, gain 1 Amber. Return each friendly creature to your hand. So not only can this be a huge Amber Burst card, but in a deck with some really good play effects attached to creatures, this can get really insane. Plus you got Glimmer, so that's a great play effect. I don't think we had any other play effects I can think of here in Untamed. Well, okay. Being able to return Chota Hazri could also be very nice, especially after that big burst. So next turn, possibly just play a key there if they miasma you. Or you just happen to build up so much Amber you had enough for 2 keys. So that's pretty nice. Destructive Analysis. Amber whenever you play it. Deal 2 damage to a creature. You may purge any number of cards from your archives to deal an additional 2 damage to the same creature for each card purged this way. Interesting. Oh, now we have a card that will add cards to your archive. Yuxlix the Zookeeper, 2 power elusive, reap, put an enemy creature into your archives. If that creature leaves your archives, it is put into its owner's hand instead. Very good. Sample Collection. Put an enemy creature into your archives for each key your opponent has forged. If any of these creatures leave your archives, they are put into its owner's hands instead. Wow, a Resonator. 2 power, 1 armor. For each neighbor Nizik Resonator has, your opponent's keys cost plus 2 Amber. That's awesome. Xanthix Harvester, 3 power. Cannot be used while it has a non-Mars neighbor. Reap, gain an Amber. Vesma Think Drone, 3 power. Reap, you may archive a friendly creature or artifact from play. Once again, another card that's nice with those play effects. Let's find some more, shall we? Mars First, Amber whenever you play it. Ready and use a friendly Mars creature. Ixixli, Fixed Finger, 2 power, 2 armor, elusive. Each other Martian creature gets plus 1 armor. Collector Worm, 2 power, 5 armor, fight. Archive the creature. Collector Worm fights. If that creature leaves your archives, put it into its owner's hand instead. Very good. Oh, and you have a second Collector Worm. Decent amount of creatures, which is pretty good Mars. And obviously you can use Mars First with a lot of different cards, but I personally like having a Mars First with a Collector Worm, just because it allows you to immediately archive it a problem creature. It's very nice to see that together. And you have 2 of them, so great odds of being able to pull that off. Oh, and a third collector worm. That's actually pretty exciting. I love collector worm, and to see 3 of them, you don't always have to fight. Just fight, get rid of your opponent's problem creatures. But having this 5 armor here makes it really hard for your opponent to get off the board, and you're able to just reap with these guys all day. Very cool. And now we're on to Dis. 3 Fates, Amber in every play. Destroy the 3 most powerful creatures. Hopefully your Noxes aren't too huge, but overall it looks like you had smaller creatures inside of your Mars and whatnot. So there's a good chance this will hit your opponent's creatures, which is nice. Poltergeist, wow, real artifact control. Currently the best in the game, Amber whenever you play it. You use an artifact controlled by any player as if it is yours, destroy that artifact. Library of the Damned, excellent. It's an artifact, action, archive a card. Anguish, 6 power. For each damage on Anguish, your opponent's keys cost +1 Amber, so you have 2 cards in this deck that are already making your opponent's keys cost more. That's awesome. Unlocked Gateway Omega, play, destroy each creature. This deck is really hitting all the check marks. You got artifact control, you have Amber control, you have just a lot of great effects, and now you have an unlocked gateway. That's great to see. Just being able to knock out their big board if they have something that's really hard to deal with is always a nice addition to any deck. And you have 2 of them, okay. Not necessarily bad. I just really hope we don't see 3. Do not show us a 3rd unlocked gateway. Oh gosh. I'm going to slow roll this one, but we're not hoping for it. Show us a different picture. Show us. Okay, it's a different picture. Thank you. Oh, it's a Schuler. Wow. 5 power. If your opponent has 4 more Amber, you get to steal 1. Great, Amber control. Not finished with you. Amber whenever you play it. Shuffle any number of creatures from your discard pile into your deck. Misery Exploit. Gain 1 Amber for each damaged enemy creature. This card can get pretty big. Too bad you didn't have a They're Everywhere inside of your Untamed. That would have been sweet. Lash of Broken Dreams. Artifact. Action. Keys cost +3 Amber during your opponent's next turn. So good. Amber Imp. 2 power elusive. After a creature reaps, you stun it. Last card of the deck is an additional Ember Imp, so you have 2 of those. Wow. Let's go back through this thing. There's some pretty interesting effects here. So let's first count up the Amber. And you actually have a little bit of Amber control inside of AOA. Congratulations. Definitely going to count Schuler for the Amber. There's so many times where you're just going to play it and make sure you get the Amber. Rarely are you just going to plop it down as a 5 power. Oh, and that Total Recall. Whoo! Decent amount of play effects in here too. That's pretty nice. So, I mean, see, even something like Amber Spine Mongrel, that might actually be another Amber, but we won't count it because it's not something you can 100% rely on. I will count Mimicry as an Amber. There are so many times where Mimicry does copy a card that gets you at least 1 Amber. So I will count it an Amber at least as far as this deck is concerned. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, it should be 15. So 15 Amber. It seems a little bit light. It's a good number though, especially when you consider the rest of this deck. Let's go ahead and pull up the Amber control now. Mimicry pretty much is Amber control. There's so many times where, especially if you're playing against a better opponent in a bigger tournament, Mimicry is a steal card. That's why I basically count it as an Amber card as well. So there's a great chance this is the best steal card your opponent has in their deck. So we're going to count that as 1 there. Let's go with 2. Not finished with you, questionable. We'll go back through this again. Don't think we'll count it. These together, they can usually stop your opponent from reaping an additional 1 or 2 times, but we won't count those either. Oh, there's Lash of Broken Dreams. That's nice. We'll just count after we get them all up. Got the Nizik Resonator. Fantastic. And I don't think we saw anything in Untamed. Kind of the Amber Spine, that could slow them down by 1, but we won't count that as well, because they're going to have to attack that creature. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, we'll put all those together as 4, 5, and 6. That's actually really good considering how big these are. I love the fact that you can make your opponent have to spend a huge amount of Amber on their keys, put them way behind. This is +4, that's +3. You can easily handle these. That's 7 Amber that they'd have to pay. Odds are they're not going to be able to forge a key. You're going to slow them down. It's going to be on a disc turn, so hopefully you can get a few other things out, whether it's getting more Amber or just plopping down a few creatures. A lot of big actions, essentially, that you're going to be doing with discs. It's a great support house in this particular deck. Now let's go ahead and bring up all the creatures so we can count those. Not finished with you, bringing them back is pretty nice as well. I said, with not finished with you, you definitely want to target the play creatures in here. You don't have too many of them, but the ones you have are actually really good. Glimmer, Schuler, cards like that. Come on, I hope you have a decent creature count for that Total Recall. I know you had a lot in Mars, I like whenever there's at least one house that has a lot of creatures, so that you know that you can rely on at least that house to be able to get a lot of amber from reaping, or maybe even the fights. The collector worms are actually pretty good fighters in here, so that's nice to see. So we have 1, 5, 10, 15, 18 creatures. Okay, it's right at average. I think the average deck has between 16 and 18 creatures, so that's really solid to see. And that said, overall they're smaller. You'd have Tantadolin, and the Noxus deck can get huge, so hopefully these aren't out whenever you want to use your 3 Fates. The key cheating in here, very solid. You have both Key Charge and Chota Hazri, and the fact that you can bring them back with like Glimmer, you can even bring back Chota Hazri with your Not Finished With You. You kind of want to draw Chota late. It's usually your 3rd key that you forge with Chota Hazri. Sure, you can sometimes do it early, but there's so many games where it comes down to just whoever can forge their last key, and a key cheat is usually what does it. And Chota Hazri will pretty much be an all-star in this deck. I love all the different ways to mess with it. It said Not Finished With You, being able to bounce it with Total Recall. There's just a couple different ways that you can really abuse it, and I like that. You also don't mind the unlocked gateways in here, because once again, you can bring some of your creatures back. You're not too worried about it. And also, you can even save some of those cards with Library of the Damned. Whether it's board wipes, amber control, the key cheats, this Library of the Damned is going to put in a lot of work. Yeah, this is a really solid deck. Congratulations, Vault Boy. Man, where are we going to rate this thing? I do love these 3 collector worms. I have another deck that actually has 3 of these. I love the versatility. I love being able to take out so many problem creatures, even if they have elusive, and then be able to reap with the remaining 2. If they have more, I mean, it's just such a good, solid card. If you look at your opponent's Archon card and you realize that these guys are going to be really important to put the matchup in your favor by getting rid of your opponent's problem creatures, maybe with that Library of the Damned, you actually just get rid of cards you don't necessarily want to play a lot of, right? Maybe you just start getting rid of things like maybe Sample Collection, because you won't need them as much. Maybe you probably want to keep the 3 Fates, but you probably don't mind getting rid of the Songs of Spring, even though they can bring back Chota. Grasping Vines, you don't mind putting that away. Perilous Wild, keep in mind just how many elusive creatures your opponent had before you bend that thing. Actually being able to just archive some of the cards, get them out of your deck. Whenever you refill your hand, you're essentially getting another card. That's actually pretty nice. So yeah, this deck is pretty solid. I like all the things it does. It has a lot of great cards. It has great synergy. What are we going to rate this thing? I mean, 18 creatures with Total Recall is just super solid. I almost kind of wish this key charge wasn't in here, because I said there's just so many ways we can keep bringing back Chota Hazri. Of course, the moment I say that, you're going to have someone purge your Chota Hazri, and you're going to be very happy that you have this key charge in here. Let's see. Overall rating. Good amber control. Bigger amber control is what actually made it so good. Artifact control. Board control. I mean, it hits every check mark there is. This deck just kind of does it all. It has problem creatures that are threats to your opponent. They're going to have to deal with them. They can't just let them sit out there, especially because you're Total Recall. They definitely can't let them sit out there. They can't let your bad creature sit out there because it's potentially more amber in the future. All right, so the rating for this deck, man, I might be going on a limb here, but I think it's got it. Might take a little bit of practice because the consistency might not be 100% there, but I'm going to say it's a B to B+. What do you guys think? Tell me down below. Is this a B? Is it a B+? Is it higher? Is it lower? What's your opinion on this deck? I think it's just an all-around good, solid deck. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for watching my videos, and I will see you next time.